don't know if our present guest is included, but some of the Bangladeshis I've been interviewing in the last few days, I've got into arguments with them on my shows, which is something that almost never happens with me, because they have sought to erase the entire history of 1971. They have sought to erase the heroic role of the Indian army in birthing Bangladesh. The convergence of interest between this regime in Bangladesh and Pakistan, it cannot be escaped anymore. The parliamentary panel's report has just flagged it a few days ago. How do you see what's happening?
See, the one thing I want to I hope you won't use the word Gen Z. This is not a Gen Z revolution. It is totally not. This is a contrived one. So that let's not go down that road at all. One. Number two is the fact, I think this is the ones who are protesting are one minuscule part of Bangladesh. Let's not say the whole of Bangladesh is on this. They're not. This is one lot which is doing all this, and the whole point of the exercise is to get you to go and interfere there and to spoil our relations, if possible, to get us to go to, well, not war perhaps, but some kind of a conflict with Bangladesh. That is the object.
You're actually saying that the provocation is that basically there's some sort of military conflict between India and Bangladesh?
That's what they're trying to get. Yes. I mean, didn't you see that the Bangladesh supposedly, I'm not going to say it is, a Navy ship which hit a fisherman boat, and I think 11 of them are missing, if I've got the number right. You've got tensions along the border. You've got the Bangladesh border forces are, well, the border is not in a good state. Then you had the burning of this Hindu guy. What more provocation do you want? I mean, they are trying to tell you, go in and do something. And let me, third thing I really want.
Who's the they?
I would say the Pakistanis told you. Tasim Munir said, we will attack you from the east. He said so. So what more do you want? But also, that is a little simplistic. So we'll add a little more to that. But before that, I want to say one more thing. This guy Hadi, who was killed, he was not some great youth icon. I mean, I'm amazed that everybody defines him, and the person who was killed recently, he was a student leader from NCP and he was anti-India. So they are defined as anti-India, which all of them are. It was not just this man. All of the young leaders who supposedly who are standing out, I mean, they are the whole Northeast narrative. Who started it? Yunus started it. So to say that Hadi was picked out by India because he was anti-us is ridiculous. You'll have to then bump off the entire lot. So there's a lot of narrative which is being pushed into the media, and some of which we ourselves are propagating. So we have to be very careful what we say. You get what I'm trying to say?
I 100% get what you want to say, but I want to pick up on this last point. Provocation for a military conflict between India and Bangladesh that you think would suit Pakistan perfectly, because there's Operation Sindoor still only on pause. So there's already anxiety, or friction is the better word, not anxiety, friction on the Western front. And now they're playing on the Eastern front. That's actually what you're saying very directly, Dr.
Yes, it is. Because I'm just quoting Munir. That's what he said. So, but is it only Pakistan? No, that's a little, like I said, that's oversimplifying the whole issue. There is a huge amount of youth unemployment. Huge. It is massive. There is inflation. Growth has dropped, I think, 2%. I mean, I'm putting all this together as accounting for the rage that you're seeing, and the fact that there is a Turkish angle and there's a Chinese angle. There's a bunch of Turkey-funded institutions on the ground, I'm not going to name them, who are churning out a lot of stuff against India. Whether this is deliberate or whether it just happens that Turkey is funding that institute, which is doing its own thing, I don't know.